said you started coaching at 16, right?
Yep.
So what made you want to start coaching at such a young age to where you are?
Um, I just enjoyed the game so much that um, I had a coach that said, "Hey, would you come help me with a team?" And I was like, "Sure," because it was just another chance for me to be out there, playing and practicing. And at 16, I wasn't a head coach. I was just helping somebody else and doing a lot of the demos and playing with the kids. And the funny part was the team that I was coaching was, I think at the time they were 13-year-olds. Yeah, I think they were 13, and I was 16. So the next year, when I was a senior in high school, these guys were my teammates, now freshmen. So these freshmen that I had coached for, a season or two, now were playing with me on the same team. So that was kind of fun, having that happen and that interaction. But I think it's just that I love the game so much that I wanted to be around it as much as I could. And when um, I had a good experience, I think, with the first steps of coaching. So that's what motivated me to keep doing it. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, as much as playing. I played for a long, long time. I still try to play. It's kind of ugly and funny, but yeah. But we do, the coaching aspect of it now is just so much more rewarding because not only do I see kids develop as soccer players, I can just see them develop into young adults, and hopefully, we as coaches have a huge influence on people in that way. It's amazing how, you know, people remember their coaches for good and bad
Yeah.
more than sometimes their teachers, and stuff. So it's an important role that we play, and I take it very seriously. So I think that's what keeps me doing it, because of the rewards on that side of it.
And then if you could sum it all up, a very general question, why do you love soccer? Whether it's coaching, being a parent in it, playing it.
Um, I think I got into it back in the middle 70s, when it was just kind of getting a stronghold in Hawaii. And I was fortunate that my father had experience in it. So it gave me a step up on some of the other kids. And so growing up, learning from him and then learning on my own, kids tend to gravitate towards things that they're successful at. If you can do something and do it well, you feel good about it. And that was something that happened with me in soccer, because I played Pop Warner football, I played basketball, and other sports, and I loved them too. But when I got into my very first soccer game, I scored 6 goals in my first game, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So I found something that I wasn't necessarily just good at, because I was a pretty good football player and I was a decent basketball player, but in soccer, I was better than the average kid. And I think that's what really motivated me to fall in love with the game. And then just having these little successes throughout. I mean, believe it or not, Castle High School won a state championship back in 1980, and I was a part of that team, and for that school and that place and that period of time with those players to win a state championship over, the Punahous and the Iolanis and the Mauna Luas and the Kaimukis and, these other powerhouse soccer schools, it just gave me even more love for the sport, and that we had success um, in doing that. And, Sean Richardson and Jose Didasco were both part of that team that won that state championship. And so, it influenced us. It made an impact on our lives, and we're all still involved in it because of those successes and things that we had as kids.
And are you born and raised in Kaneohe?
I wasn't born there. I've been in Kaneohe since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So it's all I really remember. But yeah, pretty much Kaneohe was my upbringing, and then moved out of Kaneohe in about 2006, and moved my family and my kids over into Manoa. We live in Manoa now.
Okay. Okay. I'm from Oahu, so that's the completely different side. So because you coached and played at every level, how has that shaped your coaching style and like your leadership style?
I think quite a bit. I mean, it's not necessary to have played the game to be a good coach. I know a lot of good coaches that never really played the game, but I think it gives me a little bit different perspective. And you know, not every player that's played the game can be a good coach.
Mhm.
You know, I think there really are two different sets of skills, because coaching, you know, besides teaching the, you know, the touches and how to strike a ball and all the technical parts of the game, majority of it is psychology. It's how do you deal with the personalities? How do you deal with their brains? How do you motivate and all that kind of stuff? And there's people that can do that way better than some soccer players, you know. And so it's just finding a balance between the two. And fortunately, I was able to play the game and understand the game from a player standpoint. And now I think I'm been pretty good about being a psychological leader for teams and stuff too. I was team captain of a number of different teams, and I think it's just because of my personality and the way that I deal with people and the way that I have some natural leadership qualities that my parents always said I had, and I think that just um, helped me in the coaching way. It just kind of thrust me into that, because even when I was, you know, team captain of different teams, I was um, doing a lot of coaching in that, in a sense of not necessarily the X's and the O's, but you know, what are you guys doing the night before in college? What are you guys doing the night before the game? Oh, we're gonna go drink. Okay, I'm coming with you. So, you know, and just kind of being, you know, I wasn't a drinker in college, so I could at least take care of my teammates and make sure we were ready, and you know, and things like that. And so that's all, I think, part of coaching too. It's just, are your players prepared? Are they ready? Are they able to handle the big games and stuff like that? So
Yeah.
um, I think the playing aspect helped me a lot, but the coaching aspect is something that some people are naturally born with it, and other people learn it, you know. And there's a lot of coaching education out there now that helps. But just because you've got a C, a B, an A, a national, whatever, it doesn't mean you're a good coach. It means you passed those classes and you did that. It's, you know, I always tell people that if you want to know what kind of coach I am, ask my players.
Mhm.
Go ask them. That's where you're going to get the true identity of what it, you know, the coach is like.
Mhm. That's very true. And what is the best part about leading a club, specifically your club, and creating opportunities for kids to grow and learn?
Um, Leading a club is not easy. Something I would prefer not to do, actually. You know, if I could just coach, that's the better part of it. But you know, just wanting to create an environment of competitiveness and success, and you know, giving kids the opportunity to play at the highest level that they want to. I think that's what motivates me. And you know, for some of our teams, that level is top of the select division. You know, it may not be the premier best trying for regional and state championships. It's just trying to be the best select team that they can be, you know. And so just trying to help kids push themselves out of their comfort zones and strive for something a little bit higher than maybe what they thought they could get to.
Mhm.
And I think as a club, we're trying to do that too, because you know, so many clubs are into this. Well, you know, you play for us, you will play in college, and da 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 da. You know, and if you want to go into the professional ranks, you need to be playing our way. And I'm like, are you serious? I mean, this is a game. You know, the first and foremost, let's go have some fun. You know, let's enjoy playing this game. And if you enjoy it enough, it's you, the individual, that's going to strive for more. It's not the club that's going to push you there. And it's not, you know, I feel like too many parents and coaches are trying to force their kids to be successful. And you know, the kids need to do it on their own. They need to want it themselves, and then they'll be successful on it. As a club, we just want to put the pieces there for anybody that wants to be that way, for them to do it, you know. So try to have the best teams that we can, so that if a player wants to play at a higher level, now we're getting them into a showcase tournament or something like that, or, you know, a place where they can be seen or looked at. It's a little bit difficult with mostly coaching boys. The opportunities for the girls are by far so much greater than the boys right now. So I give the boys a lot of credit for sticking to it and saying that, you know, it doesn't matter, I'm still going to do it. Because I tell them, all of you can play in college. I know college teams that are worse than our club team, you know, so any of you can play in college. It's just a matter of, are you going to go to the college that has the academic, you know, study that you wanted to pursue, as well as a soccer team that you can play on, you know. And sometimes kids don't balance those. They find one that either the academics are too high and they can't play, or the soccer's too high, and you know, you got to find that balance. Or, you know, a lot of the Punahou kids, they don't, soccer is not their avenue through college. They're going to pursue their studies, and so a lot of them pursue the academic side and then, you know, walk on for teams and stuff. And some have done pretty well, but some of them just, my son-in-law, he was the state tournament MVP in his senior year. And as soon as he graduated, he put his shoes away and said, that's it, I'm done. You know, he's been successful. He's a dentist now, married my daughter and gave me a grandson. So I can't complain, but he doesn't play soccer anymore. You know, ever since finishing his senior year, he really hasn't played soccer. So, you know, it just depends on what the kids want to pursue. And as a club, we would like to just be able to provide, hopefully, the avenue that they want to pursue. We're not a club that's going to force people or make people or tell people this is where you're going. Their journey is up to them, you know, and we'll do our best to support them and help them get there.
And have there been any mentors for you along the way that have kind of shaped your coaching path?
Yeah, there are mentors. There's also, you know, you learn something from everybody. And sometimes, even if you play for a coach that wasn't the best, you learn that, well, that's not how I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So in a way, they're a mentor, even though it was negative, you know. But some of my father was the first one, because again, he knew the game. He played in college. Um, he's an immigrant, so he came from a foreign country. So, you know, and that helped me. And he was a super positive coach, you know. And back in the day when, you know, it was yell, scream, torture, you know, and to get people to perform, for him to be opposite and do it with kindness and nurturing and positive reinforcement was huge. And I think that's why so many people in Kaneohe that played for him still are involved in the game and love it. So he was the first one. Then there's Mark Kane. Mark Kane was my coach at Castle. And he still coaches. He's in charge of the St. Louis boys program over there. And he was a mentor to me in that I didn't always like him. Believe me, he ran my butt off a few times and stuff, but I respected him. And you know, I love him like another father, because he did so much for us. But he again instilled that love of the game. He helped to nurture that love and how much we loved it. And he was one of the ones that got me more into coaching too, because he started asking me to help him with youth clinics pretty much when I was about 16, 17 years old. And so we would do these youth clinics all over the island. We'd travel to Maui and do clinics up at the Seabury Academy up in Maui. And you know, so he sort of helped nurture that coaching part of me. And then, you know, just guys that I grew up and played with. Sean Richardson, he's another one. You know, he and we did one of our first licensing courses together in San Diego. We were roommates and both got our licenses back in the 90s sometime. And, just we've always been able to, talk to each other about stuff and bounce ideas off each other. Jose Didasco with Bulls and with Heat. He's another one that I would say mentored and helped, as a colleague. And then, I played for some coaches in college and stuff that, mentored me in small ways, but one was a guy that I played for that he didn't know how to play soccer. He was a golf and racquetball guy, but he knew how to coach. He knew how to get the best out of people. And his name was Barry Wallace. And, he's one of my mentors that really helped me understand how to be a coach in a positive way. And again, you don't necessarily have to know everything about the intricacies of the game, but if you can get your players to play the best that they can to their potential, that sometimes outweighs knowing the X's and the O's.
Yeah. And what are or I guess who as well, are your motivations to do what you love? So like people that inspire you.
I would say the people that inspire me are the players. No particular player individually, but just them, seeing them enjoy the game, seeing them continue to come to practice, having players at the field, recognize me and just say, "Hey, coach, how's it?" And like the Punahou boys telling me, "Oh, coach, we can't wait for practice to start again. We want to get back to playing." And that kind of stuff motivates me. Just the fact that they enjoy playing and want to get back to practice and want to do the things that they want to do. And honestly, my wife motivates me because she's being a soccer wife. She's got to be supportive. She has allowed me to do all this stuff and allowed me the time to give back. And for a while I started out coaching not my own kids, and then I had kids and I moved into coaching my own kids as well as other kids at the same time. And then now I'm back to not coaching my own kids, so she's allowed me to go through that phase, because a lot of coaches coach when their kids are playing, and then once their kids are done, they're kind of done too. And I think that motivation of all the kids having a good experience and enjoying it keeps me going in what I want to do.